Hello everybody, welcome back to the Hot Airgun Show. I'm Lloyd and this is Tony.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a few weeks since we've done one of these, isn't it? Probably about like three weeks, something like that. Yeah. So tell me, we haven't seen each other for the time in between. Really, you've been very busy, haven't you? What have you been up to?
All sorts of things. Really enjoying the summer.
Shooting wise,
well, I did do a airgun competition. I attended the Northern Shooting Show and entered into the UK Masters, HFT Masters with Roger Late's competition. So that was fun. That was an interesting time. I haven't shot HFT for about 5 years, so I had another go.
And what's the difference between this Masters than the regular HFT?
Well,
is it two separate?
Yeah, there's two separate things. There's UKA HFT, United Kingdom Association of Hunter Field Target, and then there's HFT Masters, and these are two independent competitions, different series. Basically the same kind of shooting, maybe some small variation in the rules, but not that you'd notice. But I've done lots and lots of UKA, and I thought I'd have a go at HFT Masters. I was up at the Northern Show anyway, so I was up there and I took some time off and went through the competition.
Well, I think Roger's supposed to be coming on the show, isn't he?
So I guess he couldn't make it last time, but and he couldn't make it today, and I'm not sure if he's going to make it on our next one, but certainly at some point in the future.
Sooner or later. So he can explain the differences, and I presume he started this off, obviously there must have been some sort of thing that he didn't like about the standard.
I don't think it was that. I think he felt like he wanted to run his own, well, he can speak for himself, but I think he felt he wanted to run his own championship. He felt there is room for more than one championship, because not everybody wants to go to that particular part of the country that particular weekend. So, and I think there is a certain amount of crossover between the two. So, more the merrier, more to do. Yeah.
But more importantly, you enjoyed it, did you?
Yeah, it was great fun.
And what did you shoot?
I shot an old Daystate Mark III I have, left over from 2005.
Right.
It was when we were just changing over from the regulated Mark IIIs to the lean charge ones, which was a technical thing. And this rifle sort of lurked around, but it was just a very good rifle. So I shot it. I stuck a new Optisan EVE scope on it, so I had something a bit more modern on the rifle. Zeroed it with 4 shots in the morning, then went through the competition.
And did it perform all right?
It was fantastic, actually. It was better than I was. The gun was putting pellet on pellet.
Feeling a bit rusty?
Yeah, it was. I was all over the place. I got all the stands and all the needles, which is quite good, because if you miss that and you've just hit a hard shot, it makes you look a bit of a fool. But got all those, got a half decent score, nowhere near anything important, but it was great fun. And the weather, it was just fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think that's what made it, because the Saturday, the Northern Show or the HFT Masters, they have a go range, so people could just turn up, pay £2. I mean, my God, it's modern money.
Bargain.
And got 15 shots of that with a Crowell rifle. And they then had a go with that. They had a coach, would you believe, for their £2.
Oh, that's great.
And they'd take them through. And they did that on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday they ran the competition.
Right, and what was the show like overall then? I presume it was fairly busy with.
Yeah, it's the third year This is the third year I've been. I was out and about a little bit more on this one than normal. Normally I'm stuck on the stand completely. I was on the stand, but I managed to get off. And it seemed a bit different this year. I think the weather changed it, because they've got 2 halls. They were full, so they couldn't get any more exhibitors in the halls. So they started to overflow to the outside, and the stand I was on, the Optisan stand, was outside. So it was, with the weather, it's just fantastic. Beautiful countryside, lovely scenery, and I think people enjoyed being outside with the ice cream and the beer and everything, perhaps more than they did inside. Certainly the vendors on the outside were just rocking. They loved it, and the ones perhaps in Hall 1 were not so happy, having spent a bit more money and had less people. But it was a successful show.
Did you see anything new and exciting there?
Not really, no. I mean, yes, this rifle that we're about to show, that was there, that was being premiered at the show. But no, I think that's already happened, because I think the British Shooting Show being so important this year, everybody did their venue there. And also, of course, that's on the back of the IWA show and the SHOT show before it. So anything that's new
has already
been out, unless they're lost, unless they've missed their deadline or they had some delays. And I didn't see anything.
Right. Good.
Did you get to see him play with the new BSA though, the Defiance?
Yeah, well, I actually spoke to BSA a couple of days ago about the Defiant because they started to trickle out now.
Yes.
Hours are coming next week, so hopefully, like on the next show, we'll have a Defiant. And I must admit, I've seen some updated pictures of it. I don't know whether they've changed the stock, but it does look it looks better. So I'm really looking forward to actually.
I thought it was all right. I had a play with it. It seemed, everything we said I stand by, but it did feel a little bit better when you're holding it. Every rifle does, doesn't it? Nothing really tends to look, unless you're a very good photographer, they tend to look a little bit odd when you're actually looking at side view pictures. But it definitely was fine to hold, and the cocking linkage was okay. I do like the BSA magazine system. I think it's now come of age.
They've definitely finally they've got it right, haven't they? Yeah, which is absolutely great.
The trigger wasn't bad either. After the back of the Crowell bullpup, which we had on the last show.
Yeah, which wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
the best.
It was a nice price. Got to say, well under half the price of the BSA. Yeah.
Well, I've got another Crowell to show you today. Actually.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Actually, shout out to Brocock really because. And actually, a shout out to the viewers as well because quite a few of you guys were. You watched the Q&A video, you seem to like it, and it's prompted you to ask more questions, which is what we want actually, because there's some really, really good stuff coming up on the
Save us having to think for ourselves as well.
It certainly does, yeah. And I noticed a couple of people were asking about this rifle. In fact, have I got his name? No, I haven't. Oh, yes, I have. Errol Too Sweet, evidently. I don't know. That's your name. But
a song about that.
Errol actually was one of the guys that asked me if we could get a Brocock Bantam. So yesterday morning I rung Terence from Brocock and sort of said, is there any possibility to get one by tomorrow? A bit pushing it, and guess what? He came up trumps.
Yeah, I know. Well done, Terence. That's a fast mover.
That was impressive because he actually contacted yourself, didn't he?
Yeah.
And dropped it off.
Yeah.
Dropped it off at the house.
That's going
so
on.
Actually, through Errol Too Sweet and a couple of other people's asking about it, we've actually now got one in our hands. And it's not going to be a proper review. In fact, actually, one thing
we can't.
Well, we can't at the moment. Well, we could because we could go down to Madair again. And again, I just want a quick shout out to Lee Madden for allowing us to go down to Madair. Really enjoyed it. Always a pleasure to go down to Lee's range. But one of the disadvantages that people won't realise is that we're 40 minutes away, and because obviously you're coming up specially, time is the essence. So one of the things I've been working on over the last couple of weeks, or you've been gallivanting at fancy shows, I've been trying to find somewhere for us to actually permanently shoot. So we'll have a range and we'll have testing facilities. And it looks like we've actually got somewhere, so it's not that far away from where we are at this moment. It means that we will be able to test the guns out anytime we want to, which is absolutely brilliant. So we'll be setting a range up. Like I said, thank you for Leaf to allow us to go down to the club, but this is going to be even more convenient for us. It means that we'll be plus as well I'll be able to shoot as much as I want, which is great, to be honest with you. So we will actually do a review of this when we get the land to shoot on. But for the moment, we'll just give our first impressions basically. So I mean, we need to talk about this is the new Brocock.
What is the Bantam Mark II?
Brocock Bantam.
No, Brocock Mark. No, Bantam.
Brocock Bantam Mark II Sniper HR.
Very good.
I don't know what's going on with these names, but I mean, for God's sake, can we just have shorter names, please? It's it's hard enough to remember them, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the Bantam. This is the Bantam. HR, humour regulator. We know our stuff, we do, don't we? Humour regulated.
Hube and Mark, the two Dutch inventors of their regulator, and Brocock have done a collaboration, as indeed has Day State, and put a humour regulator into just about all of their guns now.
So what we've got here, I'll turn that over as well because you'll see the interesting 2-gauge setup, which is basically bottle pressure and regulator pressure. So what have we got here? We've basically got, I guess you could call it, it's a bantam on steroids, really.
It is, isn't it? It's a beefy bantam.
It is.
Goes, I think the thing that strikes me the most is first of all the stock, which is a vast improvement over the previous Mark 1 stock. That was clearly something special. And this big fat silencer.
Well, that's funny actually, because when I spoke to Terence yesterday, he says, "Oh, remember you remember you asking about big fat silencers?" And I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, we put one on." I says, "What, especially for me?" And he's sort of, "Well, I think quite a few people have asked for it."
And I think it's required a huge amount of engineering to do it, because if you look at all the changes here, it's radically different. So it's a completely different.
So basically, I presume what they've done is they've had to drop the bottle ever so slightly with.
I think the whole housing, the whole breech block. We'll take the stock off if you want and have a look and see what's going on. So I think I'd like to do that. I think the viewers would probably like to see where the regulator is.
Yes,
because it's regulated.
Yeah, it's regulated, which is going to give you a hell of a lot more shots.
Yes.
Starting off, obviously we've got the adjustable cheek piece, and one thing you won't probably be able to see just by looking at the video, this is not soft touch, and I mean, soft touch has got advantages and disadvantages. I think long term.
I don't know. I mean, it scares me because you scratch them and people come back and say, "What do I can do about it?" And the short answer is not a lot. These are, if you're buying a synthetic plastic stock, then you kind of want it to be, smashable. Yeah, and this definitely is. It doesn't have the feel of a soft touch, but then it doesn't mark as easy. It's doing the job properly, isn't it? And they're not using Manelli to make a beach stock and then spraying it with a rubber coating.
They've
had to go to a proper moulding company and have.
We shouldn't call it plastic, should we? Because nobody does. It's a ballistic polymer or
putting
tactical
a spin on it, isn't it? But it's yes, it is. It's a polymer resin, isn't it, of some kind. The original ones, I think, from Brocock, Bantam and Pato had a nylon infill to make them lighter, because if you make them solid, like something Millen stock, they're quite heavy.
Yeah.
So there's a compromise between weight and strength, and I think they must have done that on this because it's quite lightweight. But the style and the shape is just infinitely better.
The funny thing is, I noticed as well. Oh, there's the sign.
Not a good sign. Sorry,
the studio's falling to pieces. The funny thing is, when I saw this gun, I actually thought it was going to come out in silver, because the production photographs.
I think you're getting confused with the. They did another version called the Commander.
No, it's definitely the. I've seen a picture of the HR. I've seen quite a few pictures of the HR, and the way they've done it, the light reflects off it, and it makes it look like it's going to be.
I thought I'd seen that silver. As well,
so when I got it out of the box this morning, I was quite surprised that it was that it was black.
Yeah, very black, very matte.
Very, yeah. So what we've got obviously the regulator upgrade, which is going to give you a lot more shots. Have you got the figures for that?
Well, I remember this one is a 2.2, and it was doing 520 shots.
Wow.
Not that I counted them, but 520 shots is a lot.
So basically, tin of pellets.
Yeah, slightly less for a 400cc. This is a 480 carbon fibre. This is the top of the range one. This little rifle is £964.
Right, going to press today, basically you've got a couple of options on this.
On top of that, you've got a optional Picatinny.
So the Picatinny is not standard. You have to buy that extra.
That's an extra £89.
£89 for a Picatinny rail. I tell you what, guys, I wouldn't. But it's up to you.
It comes with 11, 12, or 3.
Yeah, there's a standard 11mm rail underneath it. So why? I mean, all right, if you want to look a bit tactical, is that a word? Then you can
go for that.
Tactical.
I think it comes with a reach forward, because being a semi bullpup, because your nose is right up against the back of the action. They brought it all back 4 inches, haven't they? So
that's because you've got big nose. You see.
That's right. That's
Romans,
And so you've got to move the dovetail forward and slightly up. And they've done that with this intermount. I can believe that now. We've got this intermount on here, or optic holder, as the other word for it, and this optic holder here comes with an 11, 12mm rail.
Right.
But this one's got the optional Picatinny.
So £89 worth of, I don't know.
Picatinny, if you like Picatinny.
If you like the tactical look, then great. It's got the standard gun actually was 864. So you basically got 864. You've got £89 for the Picatinny. You've got £100 if you want to upgrade to the carbon fibre.
Right, yeah.
Which, to be honest with you, I'm not a mad fan on the carbon fibre bottles normally, but I've got to admit, holding this, the balance does seem to be really good with the carbon fibre on it. So might be. Oh, and a 50 quid.
50 quid Milbro signature silencer on the end as well.
Thing on the end.
Yeah.
Which again, it's getting expensive.
111.30, I think it worked it out. Somebody else can calculate it.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Right. So apart from the disadvantage of the price, you've got a lot more shots.
Sorry, £1,130.
Right. Got you. So you've got a lot more shots. You've got a nice redesigned stock. There's nothing really much to say about the magazine. The magazine seems to.
We have a big, nice mention for this huge bolt.
Big bolt.
Yeah, that's quite something. Like a knight's mace, isn't it?
I quite like that. I think they've done a really good job.
Yeah, it's really had. And other detail changes. I noticed the power adjuster, which is 2 clicks. Mm-hmm. Maybe 3, 2.5. I don't know. But that has definitely grown because that was quite fiddly to.
Yeah, they've made it deeper, haven't they?
And you have got the 2 eyes there. You've got the 2 pressure gauges, and actually, it's a very good idea because one shows you the pressure in your tank, and the other one shows you that the regulator is actually working. Because one of the things that you do get on customer service with regulators is my reg stopped working, and you then how do you know? Well, I've missed the target at the weekend, and at least then you can actually see the reg filling and emptying. You can actually see the reg pressure as well. So that's a confirmation. It's also a bit of bling that you can show. Look, I've got a reg gun, but you've also got the main pressure and the gauge underneath. They're all over the place, aren't they? These ones upside down, wrong way around, just as where they've ended up.
Yeah, that's obviously a bugbear of yours because it's a bit of a bugbear of mine
just,
as well.
It's something I don't like to see, but I understand why. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does everybody understand what we're on about? I mean, at the end of the day, you've got gauges and they just screw them on and wherever they land, they land. Just wanting it right, you'd want the gauges to be upright, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like you would in a car.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect your speedometer to be upside down, would you really? That'd be quite interesting when you're driving along. But yeah, that'd be nice to get right, and maybe
it's not easy to do though. I've mentioned it 100 times, and lots of people have ummed and ahed and thought about it, but it isn't easy to do. You've got to, because it depends where the cut of the thread is.
The thread, yeah. I mean, overall, without shooting it, to be honest with it, it fits me really well.
Yeah.
I think it looks nice.
Definitely a step up. Isn't it?
It's definitely the only thing. It is a step up, but is it a step up financially too high?
Well, it's moving Brocock into the day state market.
It is, yeah. And I thought Brocock were going to be the sort of more economy end of the market, But saying that. Why fight against the cheap Chinese imports and stuff like that?
Yeah,
maybe this is going to be the way that they're going to go in future. Yeah. It's going to get more expensive.
Comparing it with a £300 or £400 or £500 gun, it's way better. Only the purchaser's going to decide whether it's worth double.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? It gets to that point where you get 95% of the performance for twice the price.
That's quite normal in the world, though, isn't it?
It is, but like when you're paying 3 times the price, how much are you extra? Are you really going to get above that 95%? I don't know.
It'll depend how it shoots, won't it?
It will do, and it'll be interesting.
Black trigger blade as well. That's new. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that's the Bantam Sniper HR. These are going to be coming into your local retailer very shortly. In fact, I think there's none about yet. Is there? They haven't actually officially released them. This is it's not even a pre-production process. This is I don't know.
Press sample.
Is this a press sample? Yeah. So this is basically the press sample. So you'll get to see these maybe in the next couple of weeks. Interesting. I like the looks of it. Not over keen on the price, but to be honest with you, there's the regulator is going to cost money, the carbon fibre is going to cost money, etc., etc. You do get what you pay for. But saying that, I'm going to show you now.
But there's £100,000 worth of tooling in that stock.
Really?
Must be.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe more. You can easily go to 150,000.
You see it from a different side.
Limited production. There's only so many of these going to be sold. If you're going to do it properly, you've got to invest in the tooling. It's an expensive thing to produce.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, from a £964 gun, shall we show
the other end of the
scale? Shall we show the other end of the price scale?
Okay.
And actually,
I'll have a break.
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what, because I've got to get a knife to get this box on, because we're going to do a bit of an unboxing video. I haven't actually opened this one up yet, so we'll be back in.
Let's hope the right gun's inside.
Yes, yeah, so do I. Right, back in 30 seconds.
Act like you're talking to Tony. Because I like you're talking shit.
Yeah.
It's just like a real thing.
Hi, I'm Steve from the British Shooting Show. Come and see us in February next year, 2019. We'll have wider aisles, more space, and a bigger and better show. Thank you.